Green means go.
Green means go.
Go.
Ready?
Go.
3, 2.
We have to do that again?
No.
Okay.
Just rambling.
I was just asking.
Pre-rambling. Yep.
Right.
Get comfortable.
Get comfortable. We're in for it. You good?
Yeah.
Angles?
Good.
Welcome back to Fail Better, Suck Less. I'm here on the couch with Mr. John Weeks, Lizzie Hope, Steve Smith, and yours truly, Gia. And today's episode, we're going to cut right to it. We're going to talk about fitness myths. We put out a poll on Instagram. We had a bunch of questions asked on things you've heard about fitness. Are they true? Are they not? But Lizzie's going to go ahead and explain to us how we're going to go about this process because we want to do this once.
So to make it fun, we have our magical mug of myths.
Oh.
Yeah, I did that. Magical mug of myths. There's a few myths inside. We're going to have a 2-minute timer. Each person is going to, when it's their turn, pick a myth.
Mm-hmm.
The timer is going to start. You have 2 minutes to debunk or maybe agree with the myth. Maybe.
Or maybe not.
And then we'll do a minute of rest in between where there's a little bit of conversation about it. And then we pass the mug.
Love it.
Love it?
Let's go.
All right, let's get opinionated. So
Who's starting?
I'm going to start the timer and then I'm going to hand the mug to you.
Gio's up first. He's on deck.
No pressure.
pressure.
You ready? Read it and then we go.
Not that one. Sorry.
Make sure you, okay.
Gotcha. All right. Personal, is that an H? Personal / comp programming is necessary.
Go.
Gotcha. I'm a little biased, right? I do love me my comp train. I've been on the comp train for about 5 years. I don't necessarily think personal competition training is necessary for everybody. I think it's a nice challenge. I think it's a nice addition. But you really need to be able to master, I think, class programming before you're able to move on, right? So talk to your coach, like, hey, are you really completing RX? Not just barely completing it, but are you completing the stimulus of what your coaches are asking you? So if we're talking about cycling 135 for power cleans, are you able to hold on for that? Or are you still kind of in a habit of drop and go? Like what is your different levels? I think it's great. I personally love competition programming. I think more people could probably benefit from understanding that it is mass distributed. So it's not necessarily personal if you're just buying it and everybody else is following it too. It's personal if you have a coach or a trainer that's like actually, programming that for you directly, and you're able to talk to them and they're able to maybe make some adjustments. Hey, instead of working your heaviest deadlift, you need to open up that hip mobility for your depth of cleans, for your squats, for your thrusters, for whatever else it may be. So I think it's great. I don't know about necessary, but if you are ready for that kind of level, talk to your coach. And I think anybody would be able to say, you know what, maybe CompTrain is up your alley too, to add supplemental or present whatever programming you bought and be able to say, now that's going to be added on to your class program as accessories.
You're out. All right, a minute for all of us to tell him he's wrong. Go.
I agree with that. I mean, I don't think it's necessary, but it depends on what your goals are. If you want to compete in CrossFit, maybe it's the next step for you.
Yep.
But at the same time, you have to kind of define your baseline. If it's too much, you're going to die.
I would completely agree. I think that a lot of it depends on what your personal goals are. And you can get a lot of fitness out of regular class programming. As you said, I think that's the best foundation for pretty much anyone starting out. And then if you want to specifically good at competing in CrossFit, competitive programming is going to help you on things that are more skill specific and sport specific.
Yeah.
So.
And then last 20 seconds, 15 seconds, 14. To wrap things up on that, just know what your goals are and get programming for those goals. And if you're not sure what your goals are, ask your coach. So,
Beautiful.
3.
Also, a side note.
1. No side notes.
I totally feel bad that I know Lizzie wanted to say what I.
No, you got it.
No, you
No,
sure?
no. You just didn't cite me, and I was offended. Go ahead.
Yeah.
The mug of myths
The mug of.
is speaking. Supplements are necessary.
Ready? Go.
Preface everything I'm about to say with talk to a registered dietitian when getting into supplementation and nutrition type things. I think there's a lot of fitness and nutrition professionals out there that don't know enough about these things to speak competently about them. That being said, my personal use of supplements, it would be limited to something like a whey protein, creatine, and caffeine. I do mostly just through coffee. I really think that most people should get most of their protein intake from whole foods is better if they can. Whey protein can be useful, especially post-workout. It absorbs faster. If you're trying specifically to lose weight, there's a lot of things that you can do there. But I do think that supplements, by and large, it's a big industry. There's a lot of marketing behind it, and they're really trying to sell you something. I think a lot of things like BCAAs, pre-workout, and other things are massively oversold and overused. If you are not sleeping enough, eating properly, and exercising 4 to 5 days a week, you will probably get more out of optimizing those things than buying a ton of supplements and spending a lot of extra money.
Preach.
So you have 30 seconds left.
I have 30 seconds left.
When you you said Whole Foods, I thought you meant like get your food from Whole Foods.
Right.
No.
I was like,
Jeff Bezos does.
But
not.
you guys,
I'm not.
you guys can chime in since I had a little extra time. Go for it.
Supplement, right? Means supplemental to what overall should be a good diet, sleep, and all the stuff that you put in. You shouldn't be banking on supplements to be able to be your only source of recovery.
Yep, I would agree.
yeah.
Absolutely.
We're going into our minute of rest to talk about it, but
Keep going.
just I think pre-workout is one that's kind of it's thrown out there a lot as like something that people take just because it's caffeine, but be careful. If you don't think you can do a workout before you've taken pre-workout, you probably shouldn't be doing the workout after you've taken pre-workout.
Yeah. We talked about this offline before, but I think creatine and caffeine are two things that are very highly researched and shown to be effective. A lot of other things are less proven, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I love some Gatorade, especially BCAAs, but mostly because it has caffeine in it, and that's my second or third cup of coffee in the day. So it's nothing, really beyond that, other than it tastes better than coffee sometimes.
Can I do a hot take?
Nothing tastes better than coffee.
Hot take, you don't need the first week of creatine loading. Just take the normal.
Absolutely. You do
Yes.
that. They do that to make you buy more creatine.
Yes.
Save your money.
Time. Steve, magic mug of myths. Go,
Magic
go,
mug
go.
of myths. Oh god.
Oh no.
Oh,
You're
my
spilling the
gosh.
myths.
Because they wanted this one.
Oh, you wanted that one?
Yes.
Interesting.
GHDs will give you rhabdo.
Ready, set, go.
I think that any exercise that you are not trained for to either hit, a set of volume or, strength or range of motion can be, not necessarily good for your training cycle. If you attack a workout and it's got a movement that you've never practiced before, you're probably not going to, load that weight, super heavy, or, you might not hit full range of motion. And I think that there's a lot of conversation around appropriate scaling for that. Especially with something like a GHD, I wouldn't say it's necessarily going to give you rhabdo, but I think it's one of those movements that we don't necessarily find ourselves going through that range of motion on a day-to-day. I don't think I lean back in a chair that far without a support and rely on my abs to, hold me up. So like,
Not
those
without
are
laying down real fast.
That's a really good analogy.
These are some day-to-day things that I don't think I find myself encountering. But I think GHDs will be good for humans, and progressively getting yourself prepared to do a workout with GHDs in it whether it's slowly building through sets of 6, EMOMs, things like that to increase over time what you're capable of doing. I don't think that GHDs can be the only movement that gives people rhabdo. Running can give you rhabdo. There's a lot of things behind it that scientifically your body can't really function the same. And I think rhabdo is one of those CrossFit scare you silly pukey kind of days. I think a lot of coaching has gotten to the point where rhabdo is not in conversation anymore.
Nice.
Very well
That's
done.
pretty good. All right, we have 1 minute to tell Steve.
Tell me I'm wrong.
So
He's wrong.
I would throw in
Tell me wrong.
specifically about rhabdo for those that are a little bit less educated. A lot of times people that get rhabdo are actually people that are very fit already, and they're doing a new movement for the first time or a new range of motion. And it's usually eccentric loading that is the culprit with rhabdo. So GHDs are a good example because you're loading eccentrically as you lay back, but also things like pull-ups, push-ups, even high volume squatting and lunging can do it. And it's usually just way too much volume, and dehydration can also play a factor. So just making sure that you control those variables will minimize your risk.
CrossFit Handbook said something about this.
It's just your trainer, right? And that's why the coaches are there too. Your coaches are there because we've gone through the certification. And yeah, in the handbook it says trainers should be able to educate. And I think you touched it right when it's like, for those of you who don't really know what rhabdo is, we do. We've been trained for it, and just to let you know to be careful and to scale appropriately.
Done.
Well done.
Lizzie.
Oh, I'm nervous. You pick for me.
No. Here, give me your phone though. I want to be the one to count down the minutes
Oh,
for you.
you're gonna be
You just
mean
want to
though.
tell her to stop talking.
Yeah.
1000%.
Shut up.
Go ahead.
No, you don't start
Do we
until
think that actually mixed them at all?
it didn't. I watched. You don't start until I'm done.
It's micromanaging.
That's seriously.
Ooh, right on the topic. CrossFit causes injuries.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah,
Go.
so not really. I mean, anything can cause an injury. I've worked with people who have gone to get the mail and they've torn their ACL bending down to pick up the mail. I got hit at a dog park and needed back surgery. So,
What?
yeah, that's when I needed back
Sorry.
surgery. Yeah. All right. So,
Wait your turn.
I mean, I think one thing that they touch on in USA weightlifting level 1 cert is that the amount of injuries that actually happen in strength sports, non-contact strength sports, very low. It's a very small percent. And again, that's why you have coaches, if you're just to make sure you're doing your form correctly, you're lifting loads that you can lift, you're progressively overloading, which is kind of something you can talk about with rhabdo as well. Just working your way up to a weight and intensity, a load that you can handle. And I don't think you'll experience those injuries as much as you think you will. I remember learning about CrossFit through the Fittest on Earth, one of the first ever episodes of Fittest on Earth. And they were doing the stone, I don't know if it was the stones or the sandbags over the,
into the bleachers.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember which one you're talking
And
about.
I was like, that's gonna break someone's back.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward 6 years. I was ignorant. It's not gonna break your back if you do it the right way.
And here you are sitting in a CrossFit gym.
Having
doing a
back
podcast
surgery,
about CrossFit.
Yeah, I just did CrossFit with John. How much time do I have? I can keep talking.
20 seconds.
20 seconds. No, it doesn't cause injuries. When you go to a gym, make sure that if you're going to spend the money on a coach, that's what you're buying. You're not buying fancy equipment. You're buying your coaching. You're buying the people who are going to be programming for you, watching you, taking care of you, telling you how great you look when you're working out.
Good job.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Going into our minute of rambling. Everybody tells Lizzie that CrossFit is super dangerous. I broke my hand. I'm just saying, maybe CrossFit itself isn't dangerous, but boxes for sure are.
Pointy edges are dangerous.
Rebounding your box jumps are dangerous. That hot take. Step off the box, guys. Step off. Save your knees.
That's the new open standard, by the way.
Step off the box.
I would say to actually say something meaningful to follow up. The the goal with each workout is to find the highest level of productive intensity, right? It's high intensity, not maximal intensity. So if you are like on the ground heaving at the end of every single workout, you are probably overtraining and missing the stimulus a bit. Coaches are going to help you dial up and dial back to find that sweet spot, to your point.
He
Very
also
well
said that you were not productive.
I wasn't directing that at anyone in particular.
Seriously.
I was. No, I'm just kidding.
Anyway,
Gio,
my turn again.
shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it like a Polaroid picture.
It's actually pretty
we've all
good.
been
That's
here for
pretty
too
good.
long.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
I hope you can read my handwriting.
I was really going to say, I don't need a rest day.
Ooh.
I love this. This is great.
I threw that one in there today.
I think I'm always reminded by the meme I've seen is it's Arnold, and he's like, rest day. What is this rest muscle and how I work it? You know,
I haven't seen it.
I love it, and I think there was a point in my life for sure I did not believe in rest days. I was also on every supplement on the market, which was aiding in just me being able to go. Everybody needs a rest day, and I don't necessarily think that it's just a day. Sometimes it may need to be 2 days. Sometimes it needs to be a week. Sometimes it needs to be a week, and it needs to be a visit to a doctor, and it needs to be, why is my shoulder still going and aching, and stop just using a lacrosse ball. Like, get to the root of it, right? Like, your rest days are really, really fundamentally part of your training. I would 100% say you need more than just one, typically. And I'll leave the rest time to you because you're programming. And I think you alluded something to how you program and not necessarily wanting everybody to show up every single day.
Absolutely.
You have 40 seconds.
Well, no, technically I have 90 seconds.
Now you have 35 seconds.
So, no, if you look at the traditional modality for CrossFit, it was always 3 days on, 1 day off. It still is if you follow main site. And that's intentional because there's a level of intensity that is sustainable and there's a level of intensity that is highly productive, but you need to factor in that rest and recovery. The other thing is if you're really focusing on performance adaptations, you're going to adapt better to the stimulus if you have that recovery in there. Your muscle grows during rest.
Yes.
You need that deload. Even when we program longer mesocycles, we'll do 2 or 3 weeks of building intensity, and then we will deload for a week. So even if we're not taking just rest days, but also the training volume and intensity will also lower so that you're not hitting it just as hard all the time.
I've also seen people who have taken maybe longer than a day or two, sometimes a week or 2 weeks.
And quite frankly, everyone's different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they come back and they're PRing.
Yeah.
Because they're allowing their body to actually rest.
Well, and what happens when you work out, your muscle breaks down. Your muscle doesn't just like get bigger magically while you work out.
Right.
When you work out, you're tearing your muscle down. The soreness is, contrary to popular belief, is micro trauma to the muscle. And then the rest is the time it takes to build it back up.
Yeah.
And it's beyond just physical rest too. Mental rest.
Absolutely.
Get yourself out of the gym, active recovery day, go swimming.
I love that.
Ooh, end it with go swimming.
Go have
Let's get a pool.
Go have fun,
John.
too.
John,
2025.
There you
Get a
go.
pool?
please, John.
Oh,
Coffee shop first.
All right.
next.
Hold on.
Oh. And Gio broke his toe.
We've already established you're incredibly injury prone. Please, not tonight. Not tonight. All right, what do we got?
There was one that I misspelled.
You don't need weightlifting or CrossFit shoes. Hot take. I would actually say you don't need them. Are they going to help you with training? Yes. And it depends a lot on how seriously you're taking your training. So back when we used to have foundations classes, we actually covered this in our foundations course. We would like give links to different shoes and say, hey, these are some good, just kind of all around training shoes. But realistically, if you're doing CrossFit or any type of cross training with HIIT or anything like that, you're going to want a stable enough sole that you're able to do a lot of movements without a lot of give in the shoe. You want lateral stability. You want to be able to lift relatively heavy and still be able to do things like running and that type of thing. For weightlifting specifically, lifting shoes are designed with an elevated heel. And the reason why that is designed that way is with an elevated heel, you're going to have a more upright torso when you're in the bottom of a squat position. So for people that struggle with overhead mobility, like overhead squats and snatches, or front rack mobility, front squats and cleans, it's very helpful. There's still a lot of people that can lift without them, but it's not as optimal. You're going to move more weight with a more stable platform. And really you want to find, if you're just doing CrossFit, a shoe that will give you a lot of versatility. Things like running shoes are also not particularly good for climbing ropes. If you come in here with really nice running shoes, it's a mistake. You're going to shred your shoes and you're definitely going to be sad when you buy a new pair.
Running shoes are expensive.
Yes.
They are. I'm a big fan, hot take,
Of
CrossFit without shoes on.
Barefoot?
Me personally,
sounds
it's dangerous. I won't do dubs without shoes on.
sounds
Just sounds painful.
not sanitary.
I don't recommend it. I wear socks.
I will say actually though, squatting barefoot is actually, if you can get to a point where you're squatting barefoot, it's very helpful in terms of teaching you some mechanical things and addressing some imbalances that you may have. You should always work to improve your ankle mobility so you're not using shoes as a crutch to deal with that.
Yeah,
Agreed.
yeah.
Agreed.
You shouldn't, we have 30 seconds, but if you're learning how to weightlift and you're wondering what's going wrong, the answer isn't shoes.
No.
Right.
It's not shoes.
But they look cool.
They do look cool.
Not only that,
Steve, how
though,
many pairs of lifters
I don't
do
want
you-
to talk about it.
what I will say is you buy running shoes for running, right? Like it's got its title right there. You have training shoes, you have CrossFit shoes. It can help you, it can aid you, but like you said, it shouldn't be a crutch.
It shouldn't be.
And shut up.
Ooh.
Metcon nights.
And also change your shoes out if you're wearing them every day. Like you shouldn't have the same pair of shoes for 2 years.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, shoes just don't have a life cycle like that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it for style purposes.
Well, they don't have a life cycle when you only wear them like once every month because you have
Just-
10 different pairs of lifters.
Cutting calories equals the best way to lose weight.
Boom.
Okay,
Let's go.
So specifically tying back to what John said, talk to a licensed nutritionist and dietitian or someone who has a degree in this. This is my opinion. Cutting calories and losing weight are correlated, in my opinion. I think that for you to lose weight, you have to be in some sort of caloric deficit. Now, what that kind of depends on is what your goals are going to be. Now, if you are specifically, I want to lose weight, then you can go to a CrossFit class, you can go to a HIIT class, you can go to barbell class. Any sort of movement based on your baseline. If you're a sedentary human being, any level of movement and fitness is probably going to help you lose weight. Does that necessarily mean you have to start cutting calories? No. That movement and exercise that you're performing on a day-to-day will help you kind of impact how you go about the scale. Now, I don't think the scale is the best metric for trying to figure out whether I'm a fit human being. And I think that, based on what CrossFit, tries to do is we want to be very well-rounded, and we want to try to get to a place where we can go outside of a gym and enjoy our lives, go hiking, try different things. Back to, specifically cutting calories, you will find that you can eat a lot of healthy foods, which are lower calories, as opposed to processed things, which are much higher. And that will also probably aid you in losing some weight, right? So focusing on eating cleaner and healthier as opposed to, eating McDonald's, which I am very guilty of, it helps.
Also, tying back to like, what are your goals? I feel like a lot of people say I want to lose weight, but I feel like realistically, it's a lot of an aesthetic thing too. Like we want to look like people we see online. We want to look like the professional CrossFitters, the professional weightlifters. But like Maddie Rogers weighs more than I do. So like for me to sit here and be like, I want to look like her, but let me lose weight, like that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So like realistically, it's a body composition thing, and cutting calories isn't always the answer for that. In fact, you might want to eat more.
Right. I was going to say most people are probably guilty of not eating enough, and I think I hear that most often. I will hear from people in the gym, and I'll say, well, what'd you eat yesterday? I was like, oh, well, I had Starbucks. That's not eating. It's like, oh, I had a protein shake. That's not eating. What did you have to eat? More people need to eat.
I'm gonna
go for it.
There you go.
Give me a little extra overtime.
Go for it.
It's a trap. One thing that I'll say, having worked closely with dietitians in the past and having a personal dietitian that I refer a lot of people to, there's a lot of factors in your metabolism. Working with a professional will definitely help you to narrow down that focus and have real data to work with. Your exercise and your nutrition are part of your kind of metabolic picture. People think that it's like those are the two things. Those are only really half of the picture. Your stress and your sleep are another huge part of it. So all of that stuff contributes to your overall metabolism, and you can control a lot of those factors. My advice would be to track and control as many of those factors as you can that support the goal. And you will actually get there a lot faster, usually doing a couple sessions with a dietitian, just like you would working with a trainer, learning how to lift, as opposed to learning it off of YouTube or something like that. So, tap into professionals where you can and leverage that knowledge, because you'll get there a lot faster than if you're doing it on your own.
And safer and smarter.
Absolutely.
I feel like I just came up with a really good gym idea. Instead of doing Monday motivation, is that what it's called?
Monday mindset.
Monday mindset. Can we do Monday meditation with John? 30-second meditation clips with John.
This is just because of the dulcet tones.
Do I get to hold coffee?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. But
you should do it from your backyard.
Yo, with the fire pit. But it's just for us to all work on reducing stress. Think about it.
I love it. I'm down for it.
Give me.
Oh, I was like, it's my turn. I don't even remember what this last one is. I'm excited.
Oh, there's only one more?
Yeah.
There's only 8.
Oh. And we're ending it with you? Gotcha.
I'm just going to make something
We're
up.
ending it with you.
Do I think Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift make it good? No. Lifting makes you bulky.
Go.
If you want it to. What?
That just goes right off of
Yeah. If you want it to, sure it can. But you have to, there's a bunch of different ways to lift. You can endurance train, you can hypertrophy train, you can strength train, and you can power train. And you can also do a mix of all of those things. You can do strength endurance, hypertrophy technique. You can kind of go crazy with that. And if you're looking to make your muscles appear bigger, there's a specific type of hypertrophy training that you would do. And you see a lot of bodybuilders doing that. You don't see a lot of CrossFitters, weightlifters doing that. So again, it's based on your goals, and then it's kind of what we were talking about with calories. You have to eat enough, and you have to eat enough of the right things to actually get bigger. And most of us don't do that. I know I don't. How many grams of protein do you eat a day?
I do about 1 gram per pound of lean body mass.
I don't even count.
And would you say that you like easily get bulky?
No.
So he eats a ton of protein, and he's not like out here having the best calves in the world. No offense.
Damn. feel
But
targeted right
but
now.
no, you like no coming in.
Jesus.
I think that
30
myth.
seconds left.
I think.
Thank
Can you let me
God.
finish? Okay, Kanye.
Wow, Missy chose violence in the last 2
I think.
minutes.
I think lifting makes you bulky is really like it's really about the barbell and it's really about the dumbbell and what people see. Going from classes like high intensity interval training to seeing a barbell, they're like, I'm gonna look like a man. You're not. It's not. Pick up a barbell. I'm not allowed to talk anymore. You guys can now give me.
Go.
I don't have nice calves either before they say it. They're not.
So before we were attacked, I think it's it's not the mosquito bite effect. You don't touch a dumbbell or a barbell, do a deadlift one day, and then wake up the next morning and you're like, crap, now I'm bulky. What do I do?
Mhm.
Right? It's not that easy.
Mhm.
It's not that easy. But I think in CrossFit also, it's not. I don't want to be cliche. Size isn't everything. Right. But, I have come across tons of times. I've seen a lot of people who will go to global gyms who are bodybuilders, powerlifters, but they can't deadlift what I deadlift. They can't clean what I can clean.
Mhm.
Their muscles are way bigger. They have better abs than I ever will, but they're not fitter. So also, like, just because you look that way, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're fit.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I would say that getting whatever your goals are, you're going to get there more effectively based on eating towards that goal. So if you're trying to get muscular, you're going to eat more calories. If you're trying to get skinny or much leaner, you're going to get there by probably restricting on calories a bit. And I do think that to Gio's point, focusing on performance-based goals, you're not going to get bulky in that sense. But the fear of that really, I think, stems from a lot of just bad fitness education that has been in the space for a very long time. High reps at low weight, caloric deficit, like minuscule amounts of eating, all of that stuff. And it's just not healthy or sustainable. So if what you're doing doesn't feel good and sustainable, you're probably not doing something that's healthy for you.
Stewie?
I mean, I don't have much to add to that. I think, there's definitely some people with show muscles and there's some people with go muscles, and I'd like to have a little bit of both. But, I don't think, I just don't think lifting necessarily means you're going to bulk up and turn into the Hulk.
Keep in mind that the women that we do see that are bulky, which I don't even know if I really like to say that, so see my air quotes.
Right.
They are meticulously tracking their food and tracking their rest and tracking their exercise. It's meticulous. Like none of us are that meticulous. Maybe John. No. Okay.
No.
But it's
Not
meticulous.
even close.
It's obsessive, and I'm not saying obsessive in a negative way.
Yeah.
It's also a lot of these people's job
Yeah.
to be this fit,
Yeah,
right?
you take a
They're
lot.
being sponsored. They're getting these meal preps delivered to them. They never have to cook.
Yep.
And when they do cook, they're recording it just to be able to get views.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of other aspects of there. If your day-to-day is you are a parent and you have to drop off your kids to the school bus and then you have to go off to work, you probably forgot your lunch. You have to buy Chipotle, because your coach says to buy Chipotle every morning when you come to CrossFit class.
Did they pay you for
This
that?
is like
They pay you for that
super
plug?
giving me
Whatever I need
anxiety.
to do to get sponsored. But, chances are you're not going to be able to maintain that, on a day-to-day basis. So you have to be realistic.
And you're not going to get bulky. Just come work out with us.
Just come work out. Don't worry about the rest. Worry about
Showing up.
getting healthy,
Worry about showing up.
and having fun.
You get
And having
here,
fun.
got some friends that help keep you accountable, get that work in.
Much like today's workout.
I got John to work out with me today.
I think it's great also that we've had multiple opportunities to work out with each other, helping each other work out. I think that's nice.
Can you
Gio makes me throw up every time I work out.
can you stop injuring yourself so you can get back to working out with Lizzie in the morning?
Yeah. You're like, please, because now she's bothering me.
First of all, Lizzie the other day said, "Oh, I'm a morning workout person." No, she is not.
Yes, I am.
She is most definitely.
Yeah, I work
not.
out Monday mornings.
What time?
Oh, not
mornings?
anymore.
Right.
I work out Friday mornings,
What time?
7:30,
No, you don't.
when I'm done
No,
coaching.
you don't.
She does. I see her working out. I'm
Roll
in
the
here.
roll the foot.
Roll the footage.
when he works out.
I love that.
I work out at any point throughout the day.
Can we
All right, well-
just have a mashup of every time?
I know.
It's
It's every
this
single
table.
time.
Steve, you have to tell the people what to do next.
That's right.
Yes. First, like and subscribe. Follow our podcast. Share it, please. We talk about some interesting stuff, and I think that overall we're interesting human beings. So,
Everyone wants to see Gio get
I was
hurt.
with you till that last part.
you don't think so?
Interesting?
I'm just kidding. I'm just
I'm
kidding.
totally interesting.
I don't know about that, but
We're having
we-
fun doing this. We want
Yes.
to keep it going. So,
Tell us if you want us to talk about anything.
Yep.
Leave some
Message us what you'd like us to talk about.
put it in the comments.
There you go.
Be kind. I'm
Yeah.
fragile.
Smash that like button.
I bruise like a peach.
And done.
And fail better. Fail better. Suck less.